Nandipha Magudumana's urgent application to have her arrest and deportation from Tanzania declared unlawful continues to baffle South Africans. And for more reaction, we're joined by Botsang Moila, a consular and border control expert. Good morning to you. I mean, it's such a fascinating development. The story is just a gift that keeps gifting. Just to give the context, so Dr. Magudumana applied for an urgent would it be an immediate release from prison, basically? Give us the context.
Good morning, Cindy, and good morning to the ENCA viewers. It is not an immediate release, actually. The purpose of the application, when I looked at it, is the fact that Dr. Magudumana, specifically in this instance, has applied against, and this is important to note, against the South African Police Services and the National Prosecuting Authority for what he terms, or she terms, an illegal abduction from the Republic of Tanzania. And that's where we are. But I would recall that when Dr. Magudumana was brought back to South Africa, the leading government department in removing her from Tanzania and bringing her back to South Africa, pardon me, it was the Department of Home Affairs. But Dr. Magudumana and her legal advisors were very smart in this instance by making sure that the Department of Home Affairs is not cited as one of the respondents in this particular case, because they knew that the Department of Home Affairs has acted within its jurisdiction and regulation and act to bring her back to South Africa. And that's what we are faced with. That's why the Minister of Home Affairs urgently made a request and a submission to Magudumana's lawyers, as well as other departments and the NPA and the courts, to say, can they cite the Department of Home Affairs as one of the respondents? And I think that was a decision in the right move by the Department of Home Affairs. We will have to sit and see, or wait and see what the court and Magudumana lawyers will decide in this instance.
But this urgent application as well, procedurally, if you can talk us through it, that is there room or is there a case for Dr. Magudumana that she could potentially be released from custody, or that this is essentially for them drawing at straws?
Well, look, I think they are trying to pull on the straws, but there is a possibility. There's a technical possibility. If Magudumana can prove to a court of law, and this is my opinion, that when they were brought back to South Africa, the lead government entity or agency or department, it was not Home Affairs, but it was the police, then we have a technical problem there, because the South African Police Service has no jurisdiction to can go and bring somebody who is being deported. Remember, this was not a situation of extradition. It was a deportation for immigration or breaking immigration rules of another state. So in this instance, the Department of Home Affairs was supposed to be the lead department that brought Magudumana back to South Africa. But I was saying to another media platform last night, if Magudumana and her lawyers can prove to a court of law that in that chartered aircraft there were armed South African Police Service that brought her back to South Africa, then the government of the Republic of South Africa has a very serious problem, because she could have never been the police. But we know that Minister Motsoaledi had reported in the past that the South African High Commission officials in Dar es Salaam, as well as senior officials of the Department of Home Affairs, they went to Tanzania to fetch Dr. Magudumana and her accomplice. And if that is what actually happened, then the government has a case to stand on. But if there are any other shenanigans that may have happened, that the South African Police Service played a major and an advanced role, then Magudumana has a case. And South African government will have to convince and respond to the court on what basis did the South African Police Service go and fetch a deportee in another country. Cindy, there's also another element which is very critical that I must mention from a consular perspective. When a state deports illegal immigrants, what normally happens is the holding state or the deporting state will take the illegal immigrants up to the border of the receiving country. For an example, when we deport people from South Africa, when upon the detention center in Krugersdorp to Zimbabwe, we will normally take them to Beitbridge, which is the border with Zimbabwe, and hand them over to the authorities of Zimbabwe in Beitbridge or at Beitbridge. In this instance, the South African authorities went into Tanzania and actually picked up the South African citizens who were being chased out of Tanzania by the Tanzanian authorities. We should not forget that the Tanzanian authorities had given Magudumana ambassador and that Mozambican national 3 days to leave Tanzania. There is nothing wrong in South African authorities of immigration or the embassy or the High Commission picking up South African citizens when they are being deported from Malawi. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's being done, as I've said earlier, by the embassy authorities or even immigration authorities from the Department of Home Affairs. That is well within the Deportation and the Immigration Act.
Yeah, just in the interest of time, Botsang, just lastly, do you think that this is the reason possibly why Dr. Nandipha's legal team delayed her bail application, because they had this ace up their sleeve, so to speak?
I can confirm that absolutely. That is one of the reasons they delayed this. They were looking at the technicalities and the procedures and what is prescribed. That's one of the reasons they said all food stay in prison. And when you look at this technicality, I think they are going to use that as their ace.
All right, thank you so much. Much appreciated. That's Botsang Moila, a consular and border control expert, reacting to the application by Dr. Nandipha Magudumana's legal team to declare her arrest unlawful.